But seriously, so much has happened. There's been so many developments, Agus,
Yes.
since we last spoke. I think it's probably
When was
been...
that?
Well, I mean, it was a couple of days ago when we last spoke. But since we last spoke on this, it was... I feel like it was maybe like 4 months, 5 months. A big chunk, like a solid chunk of time.
Yeah, it was probably summer for me.
Oh, now it's summer for me. I'm hating it. A lot's happened for both of us. I would say one of the more notable things that's happened on your end has been a shift in direction of the channel, I would say.
Well, yeah, maybe like unintentionally, maybe. I don't know.
So what's going on in Agus world these days?
Well, with what the games I'm streaming, well, yeah, there is the big change. It's been like Final Fantasy VIII speedrun. So
That's what I
became a speedrunner. I guess I have to say that now.
Officially a speedrunner. We did it.
Yeah. First time I did it, I was like, maybe I just do it a couple of times, but it's really fun. People are engaged, so I'm still doing it. So I guess after 15 speedruns, I can consider myself a speedrunner. So yeah.
I love your speedruns. I think they're great. And I think the thing I love most about it is that I'd never really even considered Final Fantasy VIII to be a game that people would speedrun. I'd never really contemplated it. Like, it makes sense to me now, but I hadn't thought about it. It seems crazy. When I played it, it took me 50 plus hours. And there's something about the commitment needed to punch that game out in sub 10 hours, sub 9 hours that's fascinating. Like all the little tricks, the card tricks, trying to get Zell at the start, or the Quistis card at the start, or something like that. Yeah. The Quistis card,
the biggest boss.
I love it. I love it. It's super fascinating. It's also simultaneously exciting to watch, but also really chill because it's long.
Yeah, I mean, we wish. I think the speedrun community wish it would be shorter, but
well, that's the goal, right? Yeah,
yeah. Because like Final Fantasy VII is like under 3 hours, I believe. So
really,
yeah, because you can break the game. Basically, you can do a lot of skips where you skip like half of the game or even more. And they've been trying to do that. They are still trying to do that with Final Fantasy VIII. Like there are like people trying to skip this and that, but it's almost impossible. It doesn't seem to be working. So yeah.
How did you get into it in the first place?
Well, I guess I have to shout out Cyanide Sugar because that was the reason. It was a Saturday that normally Saturdays I work, but I was not working, and then it was 100% random. I was like, oh, I want to watch someone playing Final Fantasy VIII. That was the only thing I thought. And then she was playing. I don't know if she was the top player, but she, like, not many people play Final Fantasy VIII. So she was there. And then I was attracted to her stream very much because of the kind of person she is. Because, she lifts weights, so she has a lot of tattoos. I thought like, wow, this person is cool. And then also, she just started the speedrun at that point, and then I had the whole day free. I was doing things at home, and so I could pop in several times, and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. Like, it looks very intense. Also, it was very cool to chill to the music, to the Final Fantasy VIII music from my end. Probably she was very stressed at that time. But, I thought it was really cool. And then she did one after like a few days, another one. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should try because I haven't played Final Fantasy VIII in very long time. And it seems like it's a different way it's a game within the game. Like I already know the story, but now I have to try to finish as soon as possible. So that's how I started. I mean, she pushed me. Like I just said in her chat, I'm considering. And she was like, no, this weekend you're going to do it. And I have to be very thankful because she and Bert, her mod, they both came to my channel, and they basically went from the beginning to the end of the speedrun with me. So it was really, really helpful, because if I had to do, but so many things you have to learn during the speedrun.
That's so lovely. And yeah, I've hung out in Cyanide Sugar stream, and she's great. But that's really lovely that they, in something that is sort of competitive, like there's a bit of a competitive element to it, right? But they're still like willing to guide people through it to get people into it, because I'm sure they want more people involved in it, and that's really nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think that everyone is lovely in the Discord, in the Final Fantasy VIII speedrun Discord. That everyone is helping each other, having ideas, sharing. So I don't know, we are competitive, but we are friendly too. So yeah. Also, there are many categories. Like you can play the remaster, you can play the original in different languages. So sometimes you are like, I'm not in any leaderboard with Cyanide Sugar. I'm gonna be very soon, but not right now. So so yeah, like yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. Yeah. And actually, like, when we did the race, like we had this massive race, like I think the most hype moment for me was like we finished together. She finished earlier, a little bit earlier to me, but like but we finished together, so that was very hype. Like finished almost at the same time.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. The races are rad. I was able to catch the first disc of your last race, and it was super late, but I got hyped. And you know, the thing I really found compelling about it was there's these big ups and downs. I remember early on you kind of got a little bit screwed by the RNG of not getting the Quistis card in the, I think you're battling Zell's mum for the card that you needed.
Yeah.
And it was like you had a prediction up, will it be 5 or less or 7 or less, and then it was like 9 or 10 or something. You lost like 5 minutes. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, that sucks, man. He's fucked. It's over. And well, not that it's over, but like maybe the PB's over, or this is a tough hurdle. But then like over the subsequent 2.5 hours, you like slowly started getting these segments where you'd peel back 30 seconds here, 45 seconds here. And by the end of the first disc, you were ahead of your time, right?
Yeah, I was ahead. Like I was like 30 seconds ahead. Yeah.
Man. That's so cool.
I mean, I think it was easier because right now my times are not great. They are good, but you know, I think that the better I get, the more difficult it's gonna get, like to get a PB. But yeah, like there is a software to actually know, like get cell card like second time you play with Cell's mom.
Software?
So, yeah, so there is like a software like you can input. It's all like, I don't know how people figure this out. Like they comment on the Discord sometimes, and I go like, people are geniuses. Yeah. So depending on what cards you get on Quistis card first, at the beginning of the game, you input that, and then they tell you the timing to press start in the card game. So Zell mom will give you the Cell card like in the second round. Yeah, you input so the first round you input the card she gave you, and then also take into consideration your Quistis card pattern. Then you have to press. But the problem is, like, I was playing from my friend's house that day, so the software was not working for reasons like it's all over the place. The remastered version, the original version. So I just have to go with the like 2015 strategy, because in 2015 there was no software or anything, and just play her until she gave me the card. And it was 11th in the 11th turn, but it was way better than my first time. My first time I did that, and she gave it to me in the 37th try.
Oh,
so it was yeah.
Oh. That's so miserable. 37 goes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, there is a 10% chance for her to give it. So 11 is good.
Well, there's a sort of combination of skill that you need to do it. Like, obviously, I couldn't, if I were to try and speed run the game now, even with a guide, I would be 5 hours slower, maybe 10 hours slower. So there's a lot of skill required in what you have to do. But there is that RNG as well, right? With maybe like enemy encounters and things like that. So it's sort of, do you like that there's an RNG element? I kind of do.
Yeah, because it, like, for example, for the race is very exciting, because you, like, you know, if it's you trying to do a PB, you can reboot the game. Because the hardest part of the game is the beginning and the end. In CD1 and CD4 is probably the most... I mean, you can die in the... Like, I actually recently died in CD2, but...
I heard about that.
You can die in the middle too, but I think up to Diablos, once you get... It depends on what strategy you use to... Because, like, Cyanides use only Quistis card. I use Quistis and Cell. That's a little bit safer. But getting Cell card can be, like... RAM breaker because she would not give it to you. But yeah, like once you get to Diablo's fight, which is like half of the CD1, you become very strong, and then you have saved most of the game until the end. So the RNG until Diablos can just change everything, and during the race it's very interesting because you cannot reboot the game because you will lose such a big amount of time. That is, it's better to go with a bad RNG than just rebooting the game. Totally. But if I'm doing a run by myself and I don't get Quistis card second or third try, I just reboot and then I try again. So yeah, there is the RNG makes it way more interesting, I believe.
I think it adds to the excitement level, and also it can also not only do you have to be in great form to get a PB, few things have to go your way as well. And I doubly enjoyed watching that in the multi-stream. So there was that link, and I think there was like 9 or 10 of you racing at the time, and my PC was struggling to handle it, but it was you know, it's kind of handling it, and I closed 1 or 2 to make it a little bit easier on poor old PC over here. But that was super exciting. Like, I had you up on one monitor, and then I had about 5 other streamers just like checking where they were. I'm like, oh yeah, Agus is close to her, and she's a little bit there, and he's over there, but once in a while I would see someone just quit. And it's damn, so someone's run died there, and then I know Cyanide Sugar had died on a deer, and that was devastating. And it's like, there's kind of, even though there's no stakes, there are stakes because you've invested all this time. It's like it might be 4 or 5 hours into the bloody run. Man. Yeah.
Like if you die because you only say, like, if you are doing a speed run for yourself, you save very little. Like pro people only save, I think, twice.
Really?
Yes. So if you die somewhere in the middle, then there is no way you can return. But during the race, most people save more times. Like I would save. Maybe like 5 or 6 times during the race in the places that I know I have died before. So I will be like trying, like if I die, I can continue the race. Yeah, but Cyanide Sugar died at the end of CD1, and I don't think she had a save there. And yeah, that's it. Like that safe, that battle is very safe for me. But for Quistis only card, it can go that way. So yeah, I was very sorry when she died there. Yeah.
It's rough, but I love the challenge, and I love people that people are doing it. And you know, I love shit like this because it keeps a game alive after so long, especially one that I love like Final Fantasy VIII. That's so rad.
I don't know why there is this renaissance, you can say, of the game, like of the speedrun. I always say, I joke with Cyanide, I say like, oh, I blame you because I saw you, and then more people saw you, and some people are joining. Like now, my mod Val is joining too, and some people in her Discord are joining too. So and all people who played like 5 years ago, they are playing again, and like
they're scared.
Like,
they're scared. Yeah. They're worried.
I don't know if they are scared. Also, there is another thing. Like they created a new leaderboard. Like they banned Windows 7 because Windows 7 runs at 32 or 31 frames per second, but Windows 10 runs at 30, and it's only 1 frame per second, but that's 30 minutes difference in the whole game in the speedrun. So obviously Windows 7 was always winning. So, but people don't have access to Windows 7 anymore because it's like not safe, and so they say like the only way to keep up the speedrun alive, the community, is less banning Windows 7. So they created a new leaderboard now with no Windows 7. So I think many people are probably say like, oh, I need to put a run there now again. So maybe
the new leaderboard's up. So I've got I still prefer the narrative that they're running scared from you guys, or they're scared that they're going to be usurped from the new wave of FF8 streamers.
Probably there is something of that too, because it's a big coincidence.
Yes, no such thing as a coincidence, as they say. So what's your current PB?
Oh gosh. So I'm running two versions. I'm running remaster 2013, and obviously they run a little bit differently. But I believe the last race it was a PB, and I was 8 hours and 20 minutes. I believe
8 hours and 20 minutes. I remember when you got sub 9, and it was hype, and you've cut like 35, 40 minutes off that.
Yeah.
What's the world record?
The world record, it also depends on the game. I want to believe, I'm going to check it right now, but I want to believe like 7 hours, 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah, like for Windows 7, it's 7 hours, 18 minutes.
7:18.
It's actually a Spanish guy who did it. And for the new leaderboard, 7 hours, 45 minutes is right now.
Wow, that's quite a difference between the 7:18 and 7:45. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So when exactly, or approximately, when will you hold the world record, Agus?
I should have done what Esther did, like Cyanide Sugar. She actually was holding the world record for like an hour.
Really?
Yeah, because they created the new leaderboard, and then she submitted a run.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good.
And then someone else submitted just right after. So now she's top 4. Well, I think my biggest chance to get a world record is honestly on remaster PC, because I'm not that far from like being top 3 right now, and yeah, maybe if I invest a little bit more of time, I don't think many people are running there now, so I could be top 1 in the remaster PC. Yeah, there is a big dinosaur there. Like, I don't know, is that like rude to say dinosaur? Like, he's a very famous speedrunner.
Big dinosaur, damn, get roasted.
I mean, he's young, but in the sense of like he's been speedrunning for a long time. Connor, and yeah, I don't know if I can defeat Connor and Solve. They are both having a good time there, but I'm going for it. So
I love it, dude. I think it's a really cool development. Do you see yourself potentially getting into other speedruns? Has this awakened something inside of you?
Yes, 100%. I don't want to do more now because it just takes such a big time, like it has such a long time to learn, to improve. Like at some point, I don't know if I don't know if I can do world record, because these people speedrun these games like one day after the other, like 4 months. So obviously and the more you speedrun, the better you get. Like if I do a speedrun today and then another tomorrow, probably tomorrow is going to be way better because I have all the information fresh in my head.
It's fresh in your memory, yeah.
So yeah, I think my thinking was like, if I get very happy with my performance of Final Fantasy VIII, then I could move on to a different speedrun. I would love to do Final Fantasy VII, because Final Fantasy VII was my first Final Fantasy, and I have played like I don't know 20 times. So doing a speedrun would be something different, and it's like less than 3 hours. Like, so
that feels like a sprint compared to FF8. It's like less than half the time.
Yeah. So
when I first heard that you were doing this, I was a little bit. I remember like joking around on my stream and sort of saying like, "Oh, why would you want to speed run that? I want to slow run that to make it last longer." That was just joking. But at the same time, in my mind, I was kind of thinking like, would that be an enjoyable way to play a game that I traditionally, and I think most people traditionally have enjoyed, as this kind of methodical, slow-paced, almost relaxing, epic experience. And then watching it, I realized, well, no, because you already had that experience. You've already. The fact of speedrunning is that you've already done that, and it's just you get to do it again and get better at it each time.
Yeah.
So
most likely I wouldn't stream it if I want to play Final Fantasy VIII again. Like, I don't think I would be streaming it or anything. So now I only play games when I stream. So I felt like this is a good way to play it and stream it, like just do the speed run. Yeah.
So on a slightly more meta streaming level, has it changed? Has your experience doing these speed runs in it's probably been a couple of months now, has it?
Yeah, like 2 months.
Yeah, in the past couple of months, has that in any way changed your outlook on plans for streaming on the Twitch channel that you have, or has it changed anything about how you're approaching this whole process?
Well, it has. I don't know if it has changed. It has added some kind of a struggle of me trying to decide what game to stream and what not, because I really want to keep on playing new games because that's what I enjoy. But at the same time, I know like people are very invested in the Final Fantasy, and I'm invested too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it has changed in the sense like I realize like people get very invested in the challenge. Like they like to use the prediction to know if I'm gonna get Quistis Scar or not, if I'm gonna die to Diablos, if this is gonna happen or not. So I think that's really good when it comes to stream, like to get people engaged in the stream. And then people keep on asking me like the day after they come, oh, how was the speed run? Like they cannot stay for 8 hours, obviously. Like, pretty much nobody can stay there for the whole stream, but they are invested. So I think, I don't know, it has changed my mind in the sense like I know this is possible. I was like you, like when I saw Cyanide streaming the speedrun, I was like, how did you speedrun a Final Fantasy? Like, how is this even possible? Like, so it has changed my mind in the sense like, wow, there is like a lot of people invested in this and interested in this. So it's a good, I guess people call it in the YouTube, find your niche. So it's a good niche to find yourself in, I guess. I'm not saying it's gonna be my niche. I like to do different things, but yeah.
It's a great niche. It's a great niche. And the music really helps. The music when you're doing something over and over and over again, it's good that it has a great soundtrack and with a lot of songs on it.
Yes, I 100% agree. Like, at the same time I started speedrunning, like Audax Mode was playing like normal run of Final Fantasy VIII, and I just loved it because I could pop in and just listen to the music. So it's the best. When the music is good, you don't even need to talk when you're streaming. It's just chill.
Yeah, I started streaming and playing for the first time Final Fantasy 13 yesterday, and the music in that's great as well. And that's like, I almost don't even care if the game's just okay. If the music stays that quality, like I'm fine.
Probably the music of Final Fantasy 13 is the best part of Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, dear.
I'm not cheating on the game. I'm not saying that the game is bad, but I think the music is outstanding in that game.
Yep. I like what I'm seeing so far, though. I like what I'm seeing so far, but it's very early.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because you're streaming on the days I'm working, so now I can watch.
Yeah, well, that's always been the case, right? You're for my Saturday streams. That's when you're at school, right?
Yeah.
Teacher Agus,
yes.
Professor Agus.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It's but it was good because I went in with knowing that it's not the most beloved Final Fantasy. Well, some actually, like some people are really into it, but at the time it was sort of, in circles that I moved in at the time, it was sort of reviled. It was shat on. It wasn't really, people were like, the hallway simulator. I just heard years of people saying, oh yes, the endless hallways and then this and that. And so I kind of, but recently I remember Cranberry Pudding was streaming it maybe a few months back, and he kind of liked it. And I thought, oh, okay. And then I heard a few other people saying, no, I actually think it's quite good if you go back to it. And even some people really like the sequel to it. And so I think I went in with a good, oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, Carrion also love. I think she platinum it, but yeah, I love Final Fantasy 13-3 Lightning Returns.
Oh, you like you like the third one?
Yeah, the second one I really dislike it, but the third one I like it.
What was it about the second one well, no spoilers. What was it about the second one you disliked?
It's the gameplay. I just really like it. Well, also I'm attracted to strong, independent women characters.
Well, that's Lightning,
this is the second Final Fantasy with a woman, I guess, as a main character. So and she's very cool in the last game. And yeah, so no spoilers on the story, but basically the combat system I think is the best from the 3 games. Final Fantasy 13 combat system is okay. It's just something in between, I guess, games, like between what we have now and what we had in the turn base.
Right. Well, yeah, so far I'm just pressing X. I just press X a lot. But that's okay. Like, I don't even mind because for me, I know it will get more complex, and I know there'll be times where I actually have to think. I haven't really had to think yet, but I'm enjoying. There's a lot of lore. There's a ton of lore, and it really drops you right into it. Like it starts immediately. Almost all the central characters are immediately a part of things, and there's this urgency. There's a lot of mystery, like what the hell's going on. And I was quite like a little bit overwhelmed, but in a good way.
I dropped Final Fantasy 13. Like the reason I bought PlayStation 3 was for Final Fantasy 13, and then I started again and I dropped it to like 20 hours in or like 15 hours in, and I never came back until like 1 year or like 1 year and a half after, because I was dying miserably because I didn't invest the time in learning the combat system.
Right. Gotcha.
And on top of that, I had no idea whatsoever what was going on because I was not reading the log. I was not reading anything. So I was like, they probably you saw it. They dropped you all these like terms. Like
so many. And I mean, I read yesterday, I probably read half of the data that dropped in the first 4, like I played 4 hours basically. And it's probably only 2 hours of actual gameplay, but in that short period of time, I read on stream probably half of what I got. And that was a ton. There was so much in there. But I think it's important to read it to understand what's going on.
Yeah, you should. It's a lot of information, but once you understand, I think it's not about Final Fantasy at all.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but talk to me in a few weeks. See what I think then.
Yeah,
man, I got to get better at. Look how you're gonna hate this. You're gonna absolutely hate this. I do schedule. This is my week, right? But I think what you're gonna hate is how disorganized it looks.
I mean, it's fine. It's not the final version. It's fine. It's fine. Like,
no, it's definitely not. I've got another version somewhere.
I mean, it's not what you publish in the Discord. Like you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But that would be actually very funny if you just take a picture of that and put it on the Discord.
Maybe I should do. Yeah. But that's what I get you here for. It's for ideas.
But it looks very similar to my laboratory notes, so it's fine.
Okay. I thought maybe you'd be upset that I wasn't like using a ruler or something like that. Hey, you mentioned before that you love using Metacritic for choosing a game, and I do too. Metacritic's one of my go-tos. What other things do you use to research games?
Metacritic is probably the main. Like, if someone recommends me a game or tell like about this game, or like the first thing I'm gonna do is gonna go to Metacritic and check the score and what people say. Now I didn't do this before, but now I always go into someone's Twitch channel and check the game. Maybe ask them what they think about the game, and I might watch one YouTube video or something related to the game that doesn't contain spoilers or something. Lately I'm trying to keep away from trailers, that official trailers, because the trailers contain spoilers nowadays.
I know. Why the fuck do they do that? Why do they do that? Why do they show like a scene where an integral character betrays another character, but at the start of the game they're friends and they're like trying to surprise you with it? It's like, but I watched that's so annoying, man. That's so annoying that they do that.
Imagine that Final Fantasy 7 trailer with Aerith dying.
Yeah,
actually, I think there is a cover or a magazine or something that Cloud is holding.
No, they did that on the back of the disc. They have Cloud like holding Aerith in the water, right? But because of the graphics at the time, you could have mistaken it for he's just like helping her learn to swim or something. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really tell that she's dead. Like, it's just like these polygons, like,
That would be hilarious, though. Okay, you have to swim now.
Do you use or have you ever used howlongtobeat.com?
Oh yeah, well I do that for streaming. To stream a game. Because I can't afford, like, that's the only reason probably I haven't started Persona 5 is because I went to How Long to Beat and I was like, fuck.
How long does it say to beat?
I think Persona 5 is like, if you do only main story, I think it's like 60 hours or something like that.
That's quite
but
long.
Of course, that's not streaming time. Like, if a game is 15 hours streaming, I'm gonna take 25. So for Persona 5, I could take easily like over 100 hours. Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna be playing this for 3 months or more. So, yeah.
I really like How Long to Beat, but not just for that's what I first go there for, is how long is it going to take me. But there's a couple of other things in there that I've started focusing on. It's people also review it on How Long to Beat, which I like, so I look at that as well. Kind of like but it's, you know, Metacritic already does that. But here's another thing I do: the retirement rate. The percentage of people, they have a rate on there, the percentage of people who didn't finish it.
Oh, there is that. I never checked that. I never seen it.
You just have a look for that. I've started to value that as much as like Metacritic. Because a lot of the time people might, you know, like it's like who's reviewing? A lot of the time people might say, yeah, this game's awesome, it's fantastic, and da-da-da-da-da. But like, have they finished it? Did they go all the way? And sometimes I look at the retirement rate as, does it, like, how frequently does it lose people's interest after the first half of it or something like that?
I would like to see the retirement rate of Ni no Kuni.
High, I bet. I'm gonna find it right now. Do you want to guess? Let's play a little game.
Well, I don't know, because I never. What is a normal retirement rate for?
Okay, I'll give you a couple of examples. Let me just pull them up.
Okay.
I'll give you Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8, and then you can guess Ni no Kuni. How about that?
Good. Yeah, sounds fair.
So Final Fantasy 7, and this is the original, has a retirement rate that they call moderate of 3.67%. Okay, 3.67.
That's not a lot, no?
It's not a lot, but I think you also have to take into account that not everyone is honest about retiring it. So like that's probably more like 13% or something like that.
Yeah, retirement rate of Arif Johan is probably 80%.
Oh shit, got him. Oh dude. This actually surprises me a little bit. The retirement rate of Final Fantasy VIII is a tiny bit less, 3.6, moderate. And I'll give you Final Fantasy 9, just so you've got a little bit.
No, give me a like recent one. Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15.
Because Ni no Kuni is like recent too, so.
That's a good point. Final Fantasy 15 has a lower retirement rate of 2.45. Which probably means 12.45. So, Ni no Kuni. Given those, what would you say is the retirement rate?
It seems to be all around 2% there. So I'm gonna go. I quit Ni no Kuni, so I'm gonna just go. In my biased opinion, it's gonna be like 4%. I don't know, 4.5.
Here it claims 3.35, less than Final Fantasy 7.
Bullshit.
Which now I'm starting to think this is bullshit, because there's no way that more people started this and finished this than FF7.
Well, I have a thing. Like, maybe people nowadays don't finish Final Fantasy 7 because if this is a recent website, right? Like, Final Fantasy 7 is a very old game, so nowadays maybe they just see the polygons and they are like, "What the fuck is this?"
I'm gonna type in remake and see, and then I'm gonna stop doing this. But I need to know now. I need to know. Okay, we got the remake. Okay, the remake of Final Fantasy VII has 0.74% retirement.
Wow.
There you have it.
You need to get a PS4.
I do. I will eventually. Man,
No, you need to go for PS5. We talk about this, Porto.
Yes, that's true. When it gets a little cheaper.
Man, if I lived in Australia, if we live in the same country, like, I just don't know what to do with my PS4 now. So,
well, I'll come and visit. You sometime. Even though visiting you is probably more expensive than actually just buying a PS4. But yeah, I'll come and visit. All right, last one. Morrowind.
Oh, Morrowind.
Retirement rate
Well,
on
I have
Morrowind.
no idea. I never played any like Elder Scroll game, so I have no idea what's its retirement for that kind of
It's a
game.
vast open world game. It's less linear. Less
4%? I have no idea.
9.7%.
What?
9.7.
What is The Witcher 3? I'm like, now that the whole content episode is gonna be this going through all the games.
Well, this is the final. And I'll probably cut some of these out, but I'll keep a little in there. The Witcher 3. 2%. Oh, hang on. No, I think that might be is that the DLC? I don't know. No, 2%. There you have it. There you have it.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. Well, so I hear. Unless you're speaking.
I mean, not if you ask Cranberry Pudding,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
if you ask anyone else in the world, it's a good game.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're the things I look at. I look at how long to beat. I look at Metacritic. I really like researching. I think it's just because I like this specific YouTube channel, Switch Games. These two British guys that do. It's called Switch Up, and they have their channel's really good. They do basically these 10 to 15 minute videos, and they have reviews, like a 10 to 15 minute review of a game, and it's very like methodical, kind of like the old magazines. But they also do every week all the games that are on sale on the eShop, so you don't have to browse. Like they'll pick the ones that they think are the most the best deals on the eShop, and they do new releases that are coming up. It's really like a good way to kind of get your head around, or help me get my head around the vast array of games on Switch.
What's the name of the channel?
Switch Up. So we actually spoke a little bit about this the other day, but I just wanted to touch on it. I first heard about this idea, this concept, like of a narrative of a stream. First heard this in an interview with Dr. Disrespect on the H3 podcast, which is not really even a gaming podcast, but they got Dr. Disrespect on there, and they were asking him about, does he ever think about playing games other than, I think he plays PUBG or like Fortnite or whatever. And then he sort of said, yeah, he's always on the lookout for things. But the thing that he liked about streaming these specific games was not only was he felt like he was good at them, but he also felt like he knew what the format would be, and he knew how he could create these narratives, these immediately understandable narratives. And for example, in like PUBG or whatever, it has like somewhere, I'm not like very familiar with these games. I mean, even though we're Fortnite pros, there's the number of people left. So it's like 30 people remaining. And people immediately can identify what's going on in the narrative of the stream. There's someone with a gun, there's 30 left, you have to be the last one, off you go. And it can be segmented in these sort of like, I don't know, half-hour chunks or whatever. And so that's something I've been thinking about a lot, and I know that there is sort of a narrative to your Final Fantasy VIII streams. My question for you, I guess, is: do you think that the sort of overarching narrative of a stream is important, and is it something that you think about when planning streams?
Yeah, I think I maybe didn't think like that in my head, but you said it the other day, and then it kind of like makes sense. So yeah, like obviously like the speedrun and Hollow Knight, the Pantheon 5, like people know what it's about, people know what I have to do. The Pantheon 5 I have to beat the bosses until the end. They have the predictions going on. For the speedrun the same, they have the predictions going on, like, and they already know. Like the first time I was doing the speedrun and I had the prediction, and they say like, will I get Quistis card first time? People were asking like, how can I predict if I don't know what it is? But you know, after 2 speedruns, everyone was like, yes, do the prediction about this. So it's a narrative, obviously, because they can what you said, basically. They can pop in at any time and they know what's happening. While if I'm doing a blind run of Chrono Cross, well, that's the thing with Chrono Cross. I only get people who already play Chrono Cross.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get people who are like, they would be confused, honestly, because it's such an old game, and they would be like, "Oh, what's this?" So, I think it's really important. Now, I don't have the answer of how to, or not yet, how to utilize that information in favor of the streaming, like to make the streaming grow. And because obviously, I think that's true, but also I don't want to be doing like speedrun all the time, right? Or like Pantheon 5 all the time. So yeah, like for Ayn Rand, like he's doing the hitless runs of like, you know, the Souls games and everything. So that's another narrative that people can go in, and it's very hype when he gets it. So I mean, when he doesn't get it, it's also hype if he does a PB, like, you know, I never beat this one hitless. So there is that narrative too. So I think, yeah, obviously there is a tendency. I saw streams growing with that kind of thing going on. So I think people like that, honestly.
Yeah.
And people are invested. It's a good thing because you are invested, people are invested. It's not like, you know, you are doing something you don't like, I guess. So yeah, I'm just thinking how much of that you have to do.
Well, I think that I should clarify. I think that the idea of like you speed running or Ayn Rand doing hitless runs, I don't think it has to be that narrative, but I think that is a narrative.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way that even something to like down to a first playthrough, that's a kind of narrative, because you're like, well, you automatically know this person has never played this game before. I have. And so I want to see how they react to this bit. How are they going to deal with that bit? This is going to be an exciting way to learn more about this person, how they interact compared to me, the way I did with this game. Or it could be, oh, this person's never played this game. I always wanted to play this game too, but I'm probably not going to because I don't have that console. So, oh, that's cool. I'll just enjoy it through them. Like, I think that's kind of still a bit of a narrative as well. The one thing that I'm trying to avoid now is, oh, I'm just playing this game. Like, I'm just playing. If there's no thing attached to it, like a first playthrough, or I'm going to challenge myself to this thing, or I'm going to try and beat my GeoGuessr PB, or it's a community night, that's a kind of narrative, in that this is the time though where everyone comes together. Like, I'm trying to avoid the, oh yeah, I'm playing Final Fantasy 7, that's the first thing I can think of, because I like this game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure if that's, like, maybe there's a narrative you can build on that. Like, I'm playing Final Fantasy 7 and I'm going to play it in a different way to what I've ever done, or I'm going to do it in Japanese, or, you know. But yeah, that's how I'm sort of approaching it now.
Well, yeah, people love the challenge, whatever it is, I guess. And Soft, she does speedruns all the time, and one of her challenge redemptions is very expensive redemption, but is I don't speedrun a game. Like, I play like a normal run of the game. So I think that's the narrative. Like, you know, she gets the people on board, like on doing that way, and then she will be like, it will be something special. Like, for most of the people, that's the normal, but for her, it would be like something special. So the narrative is like, wow, I'm playing this game without speedrunning it. Like, it's just like a casual playthrough.
That's really interesting. That says a lot about her channel as well. In that, that separates her, makes her really different. That's cool.
Yeah, and like Hades, I think my narrative in Hades was like, I'm dumb, and I don't know. It worked out really well because I had a lot of people coming to the channel, and they were so invested in telling me what to do. It's a perfect game for that, to be honest, because there are so many moving parts that people can help you with. And yeah, it was perfect because I was like, backseating. The backseating tag was on my title. I say like, backseat me, please. And everyone was going for it. So that was very, very good too. But yeah, I agree. If I'm just like, if I play Hades now, I don't need help. And of course, people watch, but it's not the same. Like people watch, but they don't chat so much. Like, you know, they are not so invested in the run. They are more like chatting with me. So, yeah, I don't know. I saw like, you know, a couple of YouTube videos saying like when you stream, the stream shouldn't be about the game, should be about you, and all these kind of things. But I think ideally in my head, if it's also about the game, it's perfect because I don't know if it goes hands to hands, like when I was playing Hades or like when I'm doing the Pantheon or like the speedrun. It's great because I can input my personality into it, but at the same time, people are also invested in that. So I don't need to be 5 hours pulling the like, you know, the people into the chat, like trying to like you like there is a little help there. So I think that would be ideal.
Yeah, and I think that statement that it's just about you is a little bit misguided. Like it maybe is mostly about you, but people come to like people don't come to Twitch because they might now be like, I want to see what Agus is doing, but it's known for game. Like people search games, and so there is at least some interest in the game. I think it's about how you interact with games. What that shows.
Yeah, and I do it myself. Like I have people, the people I follow, I see the list, and I would just click on people's channel depending on what they are playing at that moment. So I think people probably do that with me too.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's obvious because I have people who only come for certain games and people who don't come for some others. Yeah, and I have people who come every day. So I love you guys. They come for the looks.
Oh, cool, don't we all? I have people who even, and I'm cool with it. I'm totally cool with it. I like honesty. I have people who like when I'm doing, I was doing Dark Souls, and they're there and they're, chatting a bunch, and then I'm like, all right, after the break, I'm gonna do GeoGuessr, and they're like, I don't want to. See you later. Bye. And you know what? No, I'm cool with it. I'm like, well, at least like I know, like I like to know where people stand. Well, that's cool. I'll see you next time. One of the ways to succeed in any field is networking, right? And Twitch is no exception. In fact, Twitch, I think, more so than many other fields, networking is really important. And you have so many opportunities. Like right now, I could go, all right, bye, it's over, Agus, and then I could just go and network in 12 different chats for the rest of the day, if I wanted to. But the more I've streamed, the longer I've done it, and it's getting close to a year now. Like it's probably like month 10 or 11 or something like that. You start to notice, you start to see things a little bit clearer, and I can kind of tell. And I don't. It doesn't make me angry. It doesn't upset me or anything like that. But you can just tell when people come in maybe because they feel they should, or they come in because they feel that it'd be good to show their face. And do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And I think this is I didn't know if we should talk about that, but I feel like we should like kind of speaking openly, like not like. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like it's what you say, it's just networking. Mm-hmm. And I think humans tend to move into like black and white, but it's not necessarily a black and white. Like, I don't know. I'm going to pick someone, if Carrion, because I know if I say anything about Carrion, she will not take it badly.
Get banned.
If I'm in Carrion's channel, and I'm lurking and I don't chat, I don't think she will take it badly or anything. No. And if I cannot pop in her chat today, I don't think she will take it badly or anything. And when I'm in her chat, like, there is an opportunity for me that the people who are in her chat and see me, they will come to my channel, or she rates me at some point. People are more likely to stay in my channel because I'm there active. So it goes hand, it's both. Like I enjoy Karian's, I enjoy her content, and then I know that way also I can help my Twitch grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an example. Could be Karian, you can introduce X person.
Absolutely.
And I think, I don't know, like the more I'm navigating this, I think the more I think being active in someone's community is much more likely that people in that community is gonna come to your community too.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the power of networking. Like, if I go in someone's Discord and I post the link of my channel and I never talk in that Discord ever again, fair enough. I have done it, and I don't do it so much recently because I realize like there is no much point. But I don't know, if I post it in your Discord, I think it's more likely like someone is gonna click. Like if I go to a random person.
Of course, because the people in my Discord are extremely likely to know who you are because you're there. You're in chat. Yeah.
So yeah, it means like I'm fake because I know deep inside that being active in your Discord or in your community is gonna help me somehow. I don't think it's fake. It's just how it is, how it works, and I enjoy your content. So I don't know, like.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because that's the thing. That's why I don't think it's a bad thing, especially not with us, because I would encourage you, if you weren't doing it, I would encourage you to try and promote yourself in my Discord, because I want people to go, because I feel like we have a bit of a relationship and I want you to succeed. I'm invested in your success, the world record. But as streamers, even for those that we don't maybe have the same level of connection to or the same amount of time knowing, I still get it. I get it. It's not like, excuse me, it's hard to get people to come to your channel. And so mathematically it makes sense to pop up in places and say, hey, how you going? I'm here and I'm there. But it's like sometimes you can see that. I wonder if some people have like a quota, like I've got to say 10 lines and then I'll make sure I do 10 lines in 20 minutes and then I'll get out and then I'll go to the next one. And sometimes you can sort of see when there's maybe no desire otherwise to be in there, and it's interesting because I think I've tried to stop doing it as much. Like I think I've missed out on some opportunities because I haven't recently. And I'm not saying like, ooh, I'm above it. Like I'm not saying, oh, I'm Mr. Holy. I don't mean like that or anything, but just, I've become very invested in this select amount of channels, and it sometimes takes a little bit to draw me away from them. And so, like for me, these relationships build over time. Like one for me is Marigram, who I remember raiding her because she was playing Oblivion. I raided her fucking ages ago. Ages and ages ago, and I remember when I rated her, she kind of seemed like, and I love Marigram, so I'm not shitting on her, but she kind of seemed like not, I don't know, she almost seemed like kind of annoyed that I'd rated her, and like I think I just didn't really, because I didn't know her, I didn't know her, I didn't know how she communicates. And subsequently, I've grown to love her channel. Marigram's like she's one of my favorites, and she's great. But that takes time, I think. And it's like now that I've gone through, getting to know her through other chats and her being in mine and me coming back to hers, and she'll be in Cranberries or she'll be in yours, or there's this. I sort of have this understanding of who I think she is, and it's hard for me to. I guess I'm kind of loyal. Like if I see someone else, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd like to see them. Oh, but we could go see Marigram. Like I'm sort of, I think I'm holding myself back a little bit by not networking hard.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I just wanted to say, the Mardi Gras personality is just priceless. Uh, I was scared. She raided me. I was listening. She was playing Apex with Cranberry, I think, the first time I saw her. And then I went into her channel and maybe I chatted like, I don't know, 3 lines, whatever. And then she was discussing about some recipes and she was very aggressive. I thought it was very funny. And then I think that day or the day after that, she raided me. And I was like, oh my God, I felt bad. I felt like I didn't chat in your channel, so you raid me or something like that. Like, it felt like I did it because of that. But then she was, it's like you. I love her. I love her. She has that personality. But yeah, but what you say of the networking, like not being, I believe, I don't know. My channel probably grew because of the games I'm playing, like Hollow Knight and Hades were very good. The speedrun, I think all together that, and I was networking also a lot. Not in the sense of like going, and posting my link in, because I think I'm growing out of that kind of networking, but in the sense of like finding people who I like and just hanging out there.
Yep.
That said, that has a limit. Like you cannot be hanging in everyone's place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, for me, the ideal thing, I don't know if this is possible or not, is like the people I know, like we grow together. Like as long as we grow together, it's more likely that everyone is going to grow more or less. So that would be the ideal thing. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not an expert on how Twitch works, the data and everything. But obviously, there is a limit for the networking. Like it worked for me, but it might not work so much from now on because, as I say, there is a limit. Like,
yeah, absolutely. What about in real life? Do you, well, not that this is not real life, but what about outside of, social media, outside of Twitch? Are you somebody that has large groups of friends, or do you tend to have smaller groups of closer friends?
Well, since I moved to Japan, very close. But before Japan, I was a social machine. I would say, like, I think, I don't know. It sounds very like arrogant, but I think people like me. Like I was likable. Like it's kind of like this kind of cuteness, I guess. Like kind of like if I make some mistake, I don't tend to be aggressive or like confront people much. Maybe nowadays a little bit more, but I'm in my 30s, so now I know everything. I know everything about the world.
You've learned everything there is to know.
But yeah, like I had a lot of that, and I never thought that was networking. Like like I saw it as just meeting people, being friendly, like having fun with other people. But obviously that helped me a lot in my life because many of the opportunities I had work-wise, this and that, is because of that. Like the reason I came to Japan, to Tokushima, I applied for the scholarship and I got it myself. I went through all the procedure, but one of the requirements to get the scholarship is knowing a professor that will accept you in Japan. And the way I know I need that professor is because I just was working in UK, and then I just pushed one of the supervisors in the UK to introduce me to a Japanese professor. So it's basically that, networking. And then when it comes, in research, it's all over the place. If you know someone who knows someone, it's more likely you will get a job, or like you will at least know about an opportunity happening here or there. That said, I don't really like networking.
It's such a dirty word, isn't it? It feels to like it almost seems to imply that you wouldn't do it otherwise.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's when we move in black and white. But sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes it's both. You enjoy like someone's presence, and at the same time, they can help you with X and Y. And I'm trying to change my mind a little bit on that and say, like, I don't mind when I help people. Like it could be applied to almost anything, like raids in Twitch. Like I feel kind of bad when people raid me because it's almost always the same people who raid me. Like it's all like Smoke, Cranberries, Ayn, like Carrion. So Cyanide Sugar a lot too. And what happened that it's very unlikely I can raid them back. I can raid Carrion sometimes, Cyanide Sugar sometimes, but normally I finish later than them. Ayn never. Odax, Cranberry never. I can never. So it feels like, I feel kind of there is this guilt inside.
Ooh,
But
the
then
guilt.
I'm trying to just say, okay, when I rate someone, I know that very likely they won't return the rate back or anything like that, and I don't mind. So I'm just hoping that the people who rate me feel the same. That's how I'm trying to navigate those kind of things.
Well, it's the best way to think of it, right? Because it just makes sense. There's no way, given the time zones and the fact that, you know, if you're before someone, how can you also be after someone? You know,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And you going a little bit back to sort of, well, same topic really, this networking thing and being a social, quote unquote, this is verbatim, Aguskun 2021, a social machine, quote unquote.
Social beast.
Social beast. Do you feel that being quite a traveler is related to that? Because I feel that I've gone through periods of my life that I have had quite large, for lack of a better term, networks of friends and people that I interact with, and I think traveling has been a big reason for that.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know if I've been also lucky. Like, I don't know. Like when I was doing my degree back in Spain, like I interacted with pretty much everyone in the classroom, and we were like 100 people. I was also like, how do you call the people in charge of the classroom in the university? You know, there is someone who communicates between the students and the teachers.
Oh, like a translator?
No. Well, it's someone who, you know, like organize, like kind of like things a little bit, like
Do you mean
kind of leader, but
do you mean a teacher's pet?
it's not that. Actually, there is no. I don't think there is a bad, you know,
like a just like a liaison between the teacher and the students.
Yeah, there is not a bad image about that position or anything. Nobody wants to do it, to be honest, because it's more things to do.
More work, yeah.
But I was that for 1 year or two, and I don't know, like then I moved to the UK, and yeah, I guess like traveling, like I mean, I was in the UK, I was alone, so what should I do? Talk to people. I guess it makes it easier to be like, whatever, I'm gonna talk to anyone. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm very like, I know people love to say I'm an introvert when they do like Twitch and like, you know, they are in YouTube and they are like all these celebrities and no, I'm an introvert, which maybe you are, but
deep.
Like, I guess I can't say I'm an introvert because when I meet new people, I just like to break the awkwardness by like just joking and talk to pretty much everyone I can. So in that sense,
well, I would say you have a magnetic personality, which is good for traveling and Twitch streaming. And that's the end of my compliments. And now for the things I hate about you. No, I'm kidding. What I was going to say.
I have this list.
I've written it. All right, chapter 5. Do you like traveling alone?
Yes and no. Like, I think I like to do everything socially. That's, I guess, the part of like being a social beast. Like, what means like I like to do things with people. Actually, I thought like going to like cinema alone was really weird. Now I see it as something normal after like a few years watching people doing it, and I wouldn't mind to go to the cinema alone right now. I go to the karaoke alone, which is pretty much the same.
Really?
Yes. Especially when you're doing a PhD, is necessary to go and shout. Have you watched aggressive Retsuko? I don't know if you know that animation.
No.
It's really good.
Aggressive
Retsuko. It's in Netflix. Yeah.
Let's do it. Aggressive.
It's really good. Like, actually, I think Kramer knows it because he has the plush, or like he uses her in her streams to like the design of the character. So
is it like is it a cartoon?
It's a cartoon. Yeah. It's like everyone, all of them are animals. And she's just finishing university, and then she's becoming like a worker in a big company.
Gotcha,
and then she goes to karaoke, and then she just shouts when she's angry. So I think that's me when I go to karaoke.
What are your karaoke? Yeah. What are your songs? Like, what are your go-to songs?
I sing a lot of anime songs. Yeah. Like, I sometimes I sing pretty much the same. I sing like Naruto song or like Evangelion. That's a classic. That's always top 10 in the karaoke because you can see what other people are singing the top songs. And then I sing like maybe like some pop Japanese songs here, and then obviously Britney Spears, Madonna, like all my gayness coming through. Yeah. So Beyonce, everything. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are not so many Spanish songs because I would love to sing like some of like my childhood songs or something. But yeah, there is only like English and Japanese.
What? So I imagine that I'm not sure, but I imagine karaoke in Japan is a little different to what I experienced in China. Is it? Well, describe it to me. How, if you're going to karaoke, like, what is the space like? Is it private? Is it really public?
It's always private. I mean, there are some karaoke bars, but that's not the common thing. It's a private room where you go by yourself or with your friends. No one is hearing. I mean, if you pass through the door, you will hear, but no one is watching or like paying attention or anything. Nobody cares. And yeah, it's just a very private thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that is how I did it. We would I got really into it as a pastime when I was living in Kunming. Go to KTV, and I would usually do it with some of my housemates and a couple of friends, but it was never like a big crowd. Like, it was probably like 10 or less, sometimes even just 4 or 5. And wow, it's really liberating, just like belting out songs. Like we didn't have a very good selection of English songs, and the only like Chinese pop song that I could kind of do was this song called 小苹果, Little Apple. 你是我的小苹果. But
sounds good.
It was just because it was everywhere at the time. It was a huge hit at the time. But like, I was limited to certain songs, but they would always have, for whatever reason, Sting's Englishman in New York. Do you know that song? I'm an alien. Yes. I'm illegal. So that just became one of my go-tos because I know it. But it was sounds like it was kind of a similar situation. And you would go solo to this?
Yeah, like, I mean, the thing is, like, I didn't go to karaoke like for 1 year since I came to Japan, and then I went with the like English teachers in the place I was living before, and then I really enjoyed it. And then I was going with my ex. So my first ex-boyfriend, he didn't like karaoke, so we didn't go. Then my second ex-boyfriend, I keep on counting. He loved it, and then we would go like at night to the. It wasn't even a karaoke; it was a net cafe. Like, so there would be a karaoke room that we would be in the room, but he like I can sing for 8 hours, but he can sing maybe for 2 or 3. So he would go to read manga in the room while I was singing. So we would do it like all night, because it was cheaper to do it at night. So all night singing. And then, unfortunately, my friends, they like it, but it's not something that they would do often. And I was like, man, I'm living in Japan. I'm gonna, if I ever leave, I'm not gonna have the opportunity to do this, and I really love it. So like a year or 2 years ago, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start going alone, because it's not enough going with people for me. Like, it's just once every 3 or 4 months, and I want to do it more.
Agus needs the karaoke. All right.
Yeah. I started going alone, and the first time it was awkward because when you go with someone, there is always a song in the background waiting to be played. So when I was alone, I was struggling because I was singing, but I couldn't choose the next song because I was singing. And my my biggest struggle was like, there cannot be any pause because the time you are paying for the time you're in the room.
You're on the clock.
And then what I did, I took it easy. I was like, okay, no, like just choose like 5 songs and then sing, and you can relax. But yeah, now I don't go so often now because with coronavirus, karaoke are not the best place to go.
Of course. Oh man.
Yeah, but I've been a couple of times with my boyfriend, like in the past, like maybe like 6 months or so. And yeah, I enjoy it a lot. And traveling, I prefer to travel with people, but I could travel alone. I have done it a couple of times. It's fine.
I prefer traveling alone because I like people. So when I've traveled with, well, now I'll list some of my exes. There's been a few of those. When I've traveled with them, what tends to happen is that it becomes a romantic holiday, and we might be interested in seeing this thing, and we want to go and explore that thing and do this thing. But it's sort of, I find it kind of hard as a couple in a foreign place or in a different space I find it hard to make new friends as a couple. In a place, in a short, of course, over time, if you live somewhere, after a few weeks, you get to know some people, but in a short space of time, say you're somewhere for like a week or something like that. And so one of the things I love about traveling is getting to know people that live there, getting to know their stories, getting to see a bit of their life, and sort of pretending that I live there almost for a little while. And I find that for me has always been much easier when I go solo, because when I go solo, I'm like, oh shit, I don't mind being alone for a while, but I'm like, I'd really like to meet some people. And so eventually I just force myself into some social interactions, and they either work out or they don't. So yeah, I like traveling solo because I like people. Do you find it, when you travel with people, do you stick with those people, or are you able to meet other people while you're doing it?
100% what you said. If I'm traveling with friends, or with my partner, like hardly ever we will talk to someone. Like, it's not like, a bartender or anything like that. But then when I've been traveling alone, the amount of people you talk to, and not even like wanting, like, I mean, I don't mean like I don't want to, but like not even seeking that interaction. People will just like come to talk to you. Where are you traveling? Where you come from? Like, how long have you been here? It's just so easy to talk to people, and they will come to talk to you too. So yeah, that part obviously is way better if you're traveling alone. You get to meet everyone around. Like, they will just talk to you. Or if you go to a bar alone, chances are you're gonna talk to someone at some point. So yeah, that's totally true. Like, I've been traveling with friends, and a couple of times we have met other travelers or other people around. I might have used Grinder to actually
yeah.
like, like I don't like, but when people, they don't do it anymore because they are not travelers now. But I live in a very touristy place. So people would write to me on Grindr like, where should I go? What is the best place to visit? I'm like no, like please no. But then when I travel, I actually do that.
Well, it's a resource, right? It's a resource.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I mean, not necessarily just say like, oh, where should I go? But I met people that just guided me around, like just like chat with me, and not even like alone. Like, I've been with friends, and we have met people like with Grindr. I mean, Grindr, say any application, like dating application, but they just took us to very cool places that we would never discover by ourselves, like bars or like sightseeing spots. So I don't know, like, being with friends, doing that is a little bit more difficult because obviously in a dating application, not many people want to go to hang out with you and your friends. But if I'm alone, it's way easier to actually hang out with local people by doing these kind of things, either going to a bar or like just using an app and like say like, oh, can we go around or something like that.
Absolutely. So, I did that when I was in Scotland. A, because I wanted to sleep with people in Scotland, but B, because I wanted to meet people who were either traveling there or, even better, lived there or had moved there in the last couple of years or something like that. And it, for the most part, worked out really well. I remember meeting this one lass from Glasgow, but she was in Edinburgh, so we hung out in Edinburgh, and she'd been there for a couple of years. But then, like a week later, she's like, "Oh, I'm going back to Glasgow. Like, do you want to come? Do you want to come and join me?" And so I got to I got this really great introduction to this city that she'd sort of lived most of her life in, that I feel like it would have been hard for me to have found otherwise. And so I used her. No, I did. No, I didn't. But no,
it comes to the same thing we were talking before about networking and getting something in, like, something in exchange or something like that. Like, you kind of hang out with those people. They help you to see the city, but it's not necessarily like about things. Like
it's true.
I think they know the narrative. That's the good thing. When you're a traveler and you use a dating app, they know what they are getting into.
Yes.
Like, I'm here 3 days. I don't need to say anything else.
Well, and also they get something out of it too.
Yeah, of course.
They get first of all, they get you in whatever capacity that is, and there's no danger of a commitment. There's no strings attached, like as soon as it might be one evening, but it might be 3 evenings, might be 12 evenings, but as soon as you get on a plane, then you're gone.
So that's what I mean. Like, they know there is no necessity of explaining any like much. It's the narrative is there. It's like, I'm here for a limited time, and then you do with that whatever you want.
I find it so romantic that it's because I'm a commitment phobe. That's why. Anyway, let's move on. I have one more thing I'd like
to say. From the dating scene.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I could talk about this forever, but I look at the clock.
I cannot do content. This is going to be a thing. I cannot do a content episode with you without mentioning Grindr.
No, you must. You're contractually obliged to mention Grindr. This is the content I want from you.
If you want to sponsor Grindr, if you want to sponsor this channel, you can contact Porto.
Dude, please. Man, I would love to be sponsored by Grindr. It'd be so good. It'd be fucking great. I'd love it. So this is another thing that happened that's sort of been a development for me. Yeah, it really has. And it actually started in your channel, incidentally, with an interaction that I had. Someone mentioned something, and it's actually someone I know and really like, so it's nothing against this person at all, but it was just someone mentioned something, and I just thought I'd make a bit of a joke, where there was talk of positive vibes only. And then I was just trying to be funny, do a little cap a bit, and I was like, well, can I do some medium vibes? And this has subsequently grown into a bit of a thing for me, and now I feel quite passionately about it. And I think actually you were probably the catalyst, because I think you really enjoyed it. Do you remember this incident?
I clearly remember. I really enjoyed it, and I think I was like, if Porto doesn't milk that cow, I'm gonna milk it from now, because I love the hashtag medium vibes. Yeah. Because I don't know, I think it represents very well you, Mary Graham, Cranberry, me, and also this is probably a little bit problematic for people who do positive vibes only. But I think we have to be adults and realize that someone doing positive vibes only doesn't really oppose anyone doing medium vibes, whatever we want to call the medium vibe is. But I don't know if you want to explain the concept of medium vibes. I think I get it, but I don't know if everyone does.
Well, I came to a point of feeling that, and I should clarify that the vast majority of people who say this, I have respect for, and I think mean it, and I believe. So it's nothing against the people that say it, but it's more the concept that I have a bit of a problem with. I've started to view this idea of positive vibes only as a kind of censorship, in a way, of reality. And I know that I understand where it comes from. It's an idea that we come to this place for a good time, so let's have a good time, basically, and let's not be shit to one another. And you want people to leave feeling like, as opposed to oh my God, that another Porto stream, Jesus Christ. But so I get it. You want it wants to be a good time, and I think it's a you want to avoid toxicity and all this kind of shit. But to say positive vibes only for me means that there is a wide spectrum of things in life that you can't discuss then, because a lot of life isn't positive. Like, a lot of things in life aren't positive, and I'm not talking about, like, it doesn't even have to be wild political comments. It's not about that kind of stuff, but just anything to, like, I broke my toe. I'm not feeling that great. I've got a headache. Fuck this game. Don't you hate it when X or Y? And I've realized that the people that I've grown to appreciate the most, and the people who seem the most human to me on Twitch and in real life, are those who seem free to be able to express a wider array of feelings. And some of those are positive and some of those are not so positive. And so this is where I got this, well, I sort of built this idea of medium vibes where, well, hang on, like, you can still be respectful to everybody and you can still treat each other with positivity without silencing the possibility of talking about half of the things in existence. And it seems to me healthier. It seems more honest. It seems more constructive. It seems better in every possible way. And so, like, it was just a meme when I said it. Like, but then you got me thinking about it, and I think, like, fuck. Positive vibes only, that's like when you go to the workplace and it's like, hey, you doing? Like, yeah, I'm doing great. And everyone's smiling. And that it's like, that some people aren't, but they can't talk about it because in the corporate workplace, positive vibes only. And I actually think it's unhealthy. And I've now started feeling more positive. Felt more positive. I felt more strongly about this as something that I really want to push, and I want to keep saying it because I think people will feel better about themselves if they can express things without being a dick. Like, I banned someone yesterday in my chat because they were just a fuckhead. I'm like, you're a fuckhead and you're banned, and that's it. And that's fine. It wasn't because they weren't being positive, they were just being an asshole. Whereas someone else came into my chat and they were talking about the 10th anniversary of the death of their brother, and talking about how they miss their brother and all these things. And that's pretty fucking negative. But it was for them, it was really important to be able to express that. And it was a little bit hard for me to know how to respond to it, but I tried my best, and we spoke a little bit, and a few other people came in chat and said that they had some similar experiences. And I think that was really ultimately a positive thing, ironically. And so that's where I'm really pushing this medium vibes thing. And if I could, let me give it a brief summary. Medium vibes. That's right, Porto. Medium vibes is respecting everybody, treating other people with dignity and respecting their humanity, no matter who they are, but allowing people to discuss matters in life which are sometimes a little bit tricky and not always positive. It's yin and it's yang, it's balance, it's Taoism, it's everything. The end.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Bye guys. Is that kind of how you view it as well?
Yeah, I think I agree pretty much with all the things you said. Not to cheat on people who do positive vibes only. Mm-hmm. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. There is a public for that, for sure. Mm-hmm. And there is, like, you're gonna get in less trouble, like, and less awkward moments, for sure. Because I believe that when people say positive vibes, they want just to avoid awkward moments, which we don't want to go through awkward moments too. Like, a kid in the school told me 2 weeks ago, like, we were saying Happy New Year, and then it's a 6-year-old kid, and then he said, like, oh, I cannot say Happy New Year because my grandfather died. And there were all the kids, me there, like, and I was awkward as fuck after the kid said that, and watched, but it's live. Like,
that's life, though, right? That's it. Like, how do you deal with that?
I just said like some like, oh sorry, I hope you are okay. The kid was fine because he's 6 years old, so he doesn't really comprehend that. But I think like the chat, I try my chat to be like as real life as possible. So I think it should be something like that. Like if someone comes into my chat and say like something like that, like my grandfather died, like, it's totally fine. It's going to be awkward, most likely. Maybe after 10, 20 people come and say it's not going to be awkward anymore. Maybe you just learn how to react. Maybe this is that what should aim for, like how to learn how to react to those things. But
that's a skill, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't have, like, I think my chat rule, I haven't changed it for ages, but I want to believe it's like any topic can be discussed, but just people need to be respected. And I think that summarize pretty much anything, because if someone comes to talk to me about X political topic or X religion topic or anything, I'm gonna listen to them. And if I feel like I'm very awkward or like if I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna say to that person, okay, we talk about this, but now I want to move on. And if they don't, I will just time them out. So because I believe like respect is also like, if someone doesn't want to talk about something, you don't need to push them to talk about that.
Absolutely.
So in first, like you can talk about anything, and then if after a while I just want to change the topic, I never had that situation. That's how I think I would kind of deal with something like that. I mean, I had something 2 or 3 weeks ago coming saying like, "Why are you so gay?"
Really? Oh, dude, I had this is yesterday. Fuck. So this person I banned yesterday, so weird. I can't believe I didn't think to tell you this. So they come in, I'm playing GeoGuessr, and the first thing they say, and it really threw me. I was, because I thought like, what could they mean by this? They said, "Is homophobia allowed in your chat?" They asked me, "Is homophobia allowed in your chat?" And I said, well, probably not, but I wasn't like, no, fuck you, because I didn't know, like, maybe they were worried that it was maybe they were just checking to see if it was okay for them. I didn't really know what they meant, right? And I'm like, well, thank you for asking, but probably not. Like, if it's really shitty, probably not. And but I was like, but anyway, how are you? It's kind of a weird way to introduce yourself. And then, of course, they turned out to be a fucking asshole about other things. I realized they were just a troll, and I was like, fuck you, you're banned. But it was so weird, dude. Like, but still, I still am glad that I didn't. Like, I like giving people a chance to explain themselves and express themselves, and I think sometimes if you say this type of speech only. And I remember Cranberry's spoken to me about this before. Like, if someone says something, being like, well, what do you mean? Like, why do you think that? And trying to get to the root of it, because I think sometimes people don't understand how things seem when they say it. Like, if you type 10 words and maybe you're saying it with a tone, or maybe people don't know who you are, and so what experiences you've had that have led to that. Like, I've got a few people in my chat that it's gotten a bit, especially in the history streams, it's gotten a bit sketchy, talking about like race and IQs and things that it's like, oh, I don't know how deep I really want to go into all this. But I've had to make this decision, which I think is the most important decision, is, are they coming from a good place? Like, are they coming from and trying to make a judgment? Do I think that they're coming from a fuckhead place, or do I think that they're coming from a place of really just wanting to discuss things? And that's been that's sort of my measuring stick these days.
Yeah, I mean, if someone says something, I don't know, like, nobody's perfect, right?
No,
and the streamer is not perfect either, so
God, no.
Sometimes it's difficult. I didn't ban that person who said that in my chat. So
you didn't?
In hindsight, I probably should.
It
was all very weird, to be honest. He just said like, "Why are you so gay?" And then he said like, "Answer quickly because the USA is gonna bomb me." Like, it was just very weird all around. And then he didn't chat anymore, so I just let it go, like, like I didn't do anything about that. But it was all like really like
that's so weird.
Yeah, I was the beginning of the stream, so I wasn't ready like for whatever, like I
was right at the start as well. Damn.
Yeah, so but anyway, like sometimes you don't know how to deal, and it's totally fine. Like if someone does, they don't have. You obviously have the upper hand because you can say whatever you want. They just can't type, right? But I would just, if I feel if like some comment is kind of racist or like not respectful towards someone, I just will. You can erase one message. You don't need to even time out people. You can just say like, okay, I'm gonna erase this message because I consider X is like homophobic, and please don't do it again or whatever. Like if the person is an adult and they know you and they want to stick around, it would do that. Like I do homophobic jokes kind of because I'm gay, so I have the liberty of kind of do some like stereotype jokes that some probably straight folks wouldn't be able to do.
Yep.
And I would totally understand. I do it in Ayn Rand's chat all the time because we know each other enough to do those things. But and also I'm a mod, so no one can ban me. but I would understand if one of those things gets erased or someone time me out in someone's chat because they don't know me, like, or they don't know where I'm coming from or whatever. I would totally be like, okay, it was a joke. I'm sorry, whatever. It happens. If the other person is an adult, I believe they would take it like that. If not, I mean, it's okay. They don't need to come back.
Yep. The goal in my life, as I hope the goal is in most people's lives, or I hope it's in all people's lives actually, is to enjoy it. The goal is to enjoy it. And I seek enjoyment and I seek excitement and I seek happiness, I guess, or I seek these traditionally positive attributes to life, and of course I seek them in my streams. But I think it's more that if it's not going a certain way, not feeling like I have to this is all right, and it feels like repression for me. Like it's what I view Medium as is more just freedom. Is because like I've done the corporate life and I've been shackled to everything's great at all times, even if it's not. And it's interesting that you mention talking about not liking a game, because I definitely now, if I don't like it, like I'll sort of try and figure out why on stream I don't like it now. That happened with this indie I played. Unfortunately, it's the Spanish one. Gris, and I got to a point where there's some really beautiful things about the game. It's visually stunning, the music's really good, the art direction's great, but it went too long and I don't think it told a particularly fascinating story, and so that was just that they were my complaints. And I actually think airing those makes me feel better sometimes, rather than holding it in. It's like getting it out, when you have to sort of get something off your chest a little bit.
Yeah.
Medium.
I don't. No, and it happens because people who come to watch a game, probably they love the game, and then you have to shit on the game. But
it's tough, yeah.
But as I said, like I'm trying to gather like adult people who come to watch me, like they think alike like me in some sense, like so they can take I don't know. I guess also it's the scientist part of me. Like you have to get a lot. Your work is criticized continuously, so I hope like people get used to that. To people criticizing other things like as a valid criticism, and that includes games. Like plus you didn't fucking do the game.
Yeah.
Like you are not the developer.
Yeah.
Don't get angry. Don't get angry.
Yeah. Don't get angry.
It's like Final Fantasy X. I like Final Fantasy X. Cranberry hates it. It's a meme. Like I don't mind.
It's great that he hates it. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite things that he hates it. It's one of the only jokes I have.
So I don't know. It's fine. So I hope like people understand that. So
and it's humanizing, man. It's humanizing. Yeah. Like you're spending hours and hours. If you're watching all of AguskunJP. I know that's not the address. Twitch.tv/AguskunJP. Links in the description. You like what? 15 to 25 hours a week of you. Like humans have likes and dislikes and they have ups and downs. And I prefer people that show that sort of that side. And I actually think ultimately I'm an optimist. And I think that's why I get so critical sometimes, is because I want things to be better. So I think expressing, as long as it's not like your base state of being, I think feeling free to be critical of things is actually a positive thing. But that's not all. That's not all medium vibes is. It's more just being free to not worry about, oh, should I, shouldn't I? That's really what it is, I think.
Medium vibes.
Medium vibes. And on that note, AguskunJP. It's 2 hours. I said I was going to have a stopwatch. I didn't have a stopwatch. Too much. No, you didn't.
My fault.
No, you didn't. I talk too much. I think I talk too much. I always think I talk too much in these things. And when I go through the editing, I'm going to be like, man, why didn't you just shut the fuck up there, Porto? Agus was trying to say something, and then you butt in, and I think I talk too much. I love chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So you got more FF8 speedruns coming up. When is the Demon Souls coming? When is it coming?
Tomorrow? I mean, if you are watching this video, probably it's like
it's already happened. He already completed the hitless run.
Tomorrow I will start it. Yeah,
that's super exciting.
It's not even open. Where is it? I don't know where is it, but I haven't even opened the game.
Man,
it's gonna be unpacking the stream.
I'm hyped. I'm super hyped. Look, watch out for Flame Lurker. Watch out for Flame Lurker. Also, watch out for the man eaters. And as for the rest, you'll be fine.
Good. I will watch out. I know from your stream. I clearly remember the Flame Lurker.
But Zephyr's XP beat Flame Lurker in like 3 goes. So who knows?
Did you hate when people say that? Like when he said it to the stream.
Oh. But like, at the same time, it's okay. I
love to do that with Bloodborne. I'm like, I defeated the guy in the graveyard second try or like first try.
Well, actually, Fortune Cookie, Fortune Cookie, she's great, and she's been doing a bunch of Soulsborne games. She's really good. First run of Dark Souls, she one-shot Manus, which is the hardest boss in the game. That took me... I mean, this run I did it in like 6 goes or something, which is not that bad. But first time that took me like 60 goes. And you hear that and it's like, well, yeah, I'm kind of happy for you, but I'm also kind of jealous. Can't wait, man. And let's do this again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.